amazing video editing happening. I've ceased to care. But so we're doing a little bonus segment, things that we've covered before, and a little bit of a new thing that I wanted to touch on. Get your guys' reactions. Matthew, pay attention. Oh, Chewy.
Yes.
12 more ounces.
First.
Add it to my what I owe.
Okay.
That Trey sermon.
This is actually a 50-ounce glass. I just finished it.
Oh, what a chug.
Yeah, really good. What was that guy's name? The legend of chugging for the league?
Hazen, yeah, Kyle Hazen.
Yeah. Did you guys go to college with him? Either of you guys?
I did. Yeah, it was I.
Did you go to college?
I did go to college.
Are you a graduate?
Yep, I got one of them engineering degrees.
I think all three of us have one of them degrees.
Yeah, he's got a teaching degree.
Useless. Get rid of it.
All three of us, meaning who?
Carver, you don't have a degree?
No. I went to 6 different colleges, though.
There you go.
So you had a lot of fun, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into this. So first, something that didn't get covered in the betting channel one, but we're doing a weekly recap of the Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall situation between you and me, Harris. Robbie Anderson got 4 points this week.
Yep.
Terrace Marshall got 2.4 points.
Yep.
You are winning on the season 31.7 to 17.2.
Yep.
So that's
now.
I don't think either of us are confident. No,
yeah,
neither of us are confident. No. We're going to talk about the trades. There have really only been 3 trades that have happened so far. We don't count the trade between you and me, Matt, because that was against your will.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you wish you still had Cordero Patterson.
Yep.
As I wish I still had Cordero Patterson. Only one of us was dumb enough to trade him by choice. Me. I'm the dumb one. But
I will tell you, I did wake up early that morning to watch the game in London, and when he got hurt, when they took him to the tent, I was like, "Oh, good, it's over. I don't have to worry about this anymore. It's not going to haunt me." But then he came back, so
I woke up early also, and I was like, "Yes, concussion."
Yeah.
But we'll start with the Will Fuller traded for Jalen Waddle, which Bill said he traded just so he could have a rookie on his team as a keeper possibility. Will Fuller promptly did what Will Fuller does. Will Fuller?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've had 5 beers in like the last 2 hours. So Will Fuller, I think, is going to be stuck at 6.6 points. And Jalen Waddle now has 20.9 points. So you would give the edge to Bill on the trade, yet Bill had never started Jalen Waddle. So they both have gotten 0 points that they've actually gotten in their lineup for it. So it's still a wash of a trade. Next, we'll move to Brashawn and Matt Harris. Harris traded Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, and Melvin Gordon to get DeAndre Hopkins and Santana Moss.
Zachary Moss, thank you.
Oh, does Santana Moss mean anything to you, Matt?
You son of a bitch.
Anyway, so DeAndre Hopkins did pretty well this week, got 17.7 points. Zach Moss got 10.7. You started them both. They have gotten you a combined 69.4 points that you've played every week since you've gotten them.
Yep.
Brashawn continues to sit Sammy Watkins, probably, smart, but he's a good bench guy. Sammy Watkins got 4.5 and has 15.7 points on the season since he got traded to Brashawn. Travis Kelce, 14.7, Melvin Gordon, 5.3, Kelce, 33.9, Gordon, 27.6 since Brashawn traded for them.
Yep.
Brashawn has gotten 61.5 points out of those guys in the trade. So of points that have actually been, counted in the season, you guys are both starting two people of that trade. You've gotten 7 more points, basically, out of that trade than Brashawn has. 8 more points. But
You know what Rashawn has gotten out of that trade? Wins.
Yep.
wins, yeah.
Against me too. Yeah.
And then here's the biggest, most likely, unless Rashad Bateman comes in and just balls out, which probably is not going to happen. So I traded Cordero Patterson because I'm a moron, and Michael Pittman because I'm a moron, to Corey for Rashad Bateman and AJ Dillon. And I can't even hope that Aaron Jones gets hurt because I have him in like 3 other leagues, so I need him to stay healthy. But AJ Dillon has gotten 26.1 points since I traded for him. Rashad Bateman has gotten 0.0 points since I've traded for him, for a combined total of 26.1 points, which 0 of those points have I put in my lineup. So I have a net positive of 0 points in that trade. Corey has sat Michael Pittman both times, or every since he got him, and Michael Pittman has gotten 27.3 points on his bench. He's played Cordero Patterson both times. Patterson got him 14.9 points this week, and for a total of 47.5 points. So, yeah. The difference between you and Brashawn is 8 points.
Yeah.
The difference between me and Corey is 47.5 points. So I'm just going to keep emphasizing that I made the worst trade of the season so far, and definitely for the entire season. Probably nobody's going to make a worse trade than that. So I'm going to have egg on my face on that one for the whole year, but at least I'm emphasizing it. All right. So we've got, I know we talk about doing all opinions, no facts, but we're coming with some hardcore facts on this part. So,
Oh, shit.
2 + 2 is 4. Nailed it.
don't talk to the woke liberals. They'll tell you you're wrong all day long on that one. Anyway, so this is pretty interesting. Have you guys ever done the expanded full standings thing on the Yahoo site or the ESPN site?
No.
Okay, so it tells you the percentage chance of making the playoffs in their opinion.
God.
So I wrote that all down actually, but we've got some new standings. So based off of this current week, the new standings are going to be, I will be in first place at 4-1. Corey will be in second place at 4-1. Matt Nielsen will be in third place at 3-2, followed by Chewy at 3-2, Bill at 3-2, Richie at 3-2, Brashawn at 3-2, and that's in order of points scored. Chris Deering 2-3, Spear 2-3, and then Harris at 1-4, Special K at 1-4, and bringing up the rear at 1-4 is Gary. So that's going to be the standings tomorrow when everything gets updated.
Yeah.
But I dug a little deeper into the strength of schedule, right? And what I found is really interesting is so I'm gonna be in first place at 4-1, and on strength of schedule, I'm gonna have the second most points scored and the fourth most points against. So I think it shows a pretty strong team, right? If I'm in the top 4 points against and still up at the top, second most points scored, it's pretty good. But there's really only one other team that has a good points for and points against situation going for him, and that's Brian Spear. Spear has the 6th most points, but the second most points against.
Keep it up, league.
Huh?
I said, keep it up, league.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Spear has a different strength of schedule, he could very easily be, I mean, he's right now, he's 9th in the standings, but he's got the second hardest strength of schedule. So if he's got a little bit of an easier strength of schedule, I mean, Spear's got a team that's going to contend. It's going to do good. But if you just look at the win-loss situation, you would think that he's not got a good team. But Spear's actually got a really good situation going for him. Harris, you're 1-4.
Yeah. Yep.
And have the toughest strength of schedule of the entire league.
Which the champ should have.
You have the most points scored against you of anybody in the entire league. Now, you only have the 8th most points scored. So it's not as if you would be, an extreme difference, but
good is the cool thing. You would not.
You're 10th in the standings, 8th most points scored, but first most points scored against you. So you've had a really rough go. You've had the worst go of anybody in the league.
There will be, there could possibly be, depending on what happens this week, a video that'll sum up my season already. And I know it's only week 6, but something could be in the making here. Chewy told me to hold off a week, so I will be holding off a week. But we'll see what happens.
Are you going to make a blockbuster trade?
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm not.
He's going to trade for Cordell Patterson.
Yes.
That would be so good. All right. So, but yeah, so I want to, so those were the kind of the super interesting ones. So what I did was I took everybody's points that they've scored, right? And ranked them 1 through 12,
Mhm.
and took everybody's points that they've gotten against them and ranked them 1 through 12. And what you want is the lowest score, right? Because you want a highest score in points for gets you a 1, and a highest score for points against gets you a 1. So you want to show who's got kind of the best situation. Standings are kind of, I mean, they're not irrelevant because that actually matters. But I think if you dig deeper into the things, like the strength of schedule is a really important thing to determine who's got a really strong team.
Yeah.
So, and as it happens, I'm not trying to do this on purpose. I'm in first. I have the best strength of schedule versus points scored situation. But after that, it gets really interesting. So like we said, Brian Spear is in 9th place and has the second best strength of schedule versus points scored situation. So don't sleep on Spear's team. He's actually got a really good situation going on. He's just had some really bad luck versus as the strength of schedule stuff going on. Matt, you've got the third best situation as far as points scored, strength of schedule stuff. You have the third best situation going on, and you're in 10th place. So if you start getting some breaks going your way, your season could turn around really, really quickly. Like you've got a good team, you've got a good situation. You've just had some really bad luck.
Yeah.
Chris Deering, 4th in, I would say, like my personal power rankings, right? Chris is in 8th place overall, but is in 4th with the points for, points against situation going on. Next we have Matt Nielsen is in 5th. But he's in 3rd place. So he's actually doing better than his strength of schedule would suggest. Bill is in 6th with his strength of schedule versus points scored situation. He's in 5th place in the rankings. So Bill's kind of exactly where he should be. He's 5th place in the rankings, 6th place in the strength of schedule situation. Again, Richie is 6th in the rankings and
Be around
7th
Seventh.
in his strength of schedule stuff. So Richie and Bill are kind of exactly where they should be. Me and I'm kind of exactly where I should be versus, just given the numbers. Spear and Harris are dramatically different versus their rankings in the, in the standings versus how they've actually performed. Chewy, you are
dropping to 4th overall.
Yeah, you're 4th in the standings, but you're 8th in the power rankings kind of situation that I got going on. So your team's kind of a fraud
Yeah.
a little bit.
No. I'm surviving.
Yeah.
I'll give a win and bite Gary. Ideally, I can beat Gary. That's the real test. my team's a fraud, I'll lose to Gary and it'll show.
Right. So Matt, I know you had to dip away. So Chewy is fourth in the standings, but he's eighth in strength of schedule versus points scored kind of situation. So he's getting a lot luckier than you are, to put it that way. Brashawn, seventh in the standings and looks like ninth as far as how good his team actually is versus points for, points against. So, kind of where he should be, just kind of a middle of the road team. Special K is 11th in the standings, 10th in the points for, points against situation. So, don't expect much different than what's going on. Gary is last place in the standings and second to last in the points for, points against. But this is the biggest surprise of everything. Corey's team is in second place. Corey has the worst, or is the luckiest team of all the teams. So he's ninth in points for and 12th in points against, meaning
everybody has their worst game against Corey.
Everybody has their worst game against Corey. So, and he's in second place, right? So if you're going up against Corey's team, and I know like none of it matters, we don't control anything, right? But Corey's 4-1 record is pretty fraudulent. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting, going off of where we are in our standings versus where we are in our strength of schedule. And the two biggest outliers are you, Harris.
Yeah.
And Corey, where you have a really strong team. You just have guys that score a lot against you. And Corey, I'm not saying Corey doesn't have a strong team, but he just everybody has their worst week against him. So it's pretty interesting. So based off of all that, any thoughts on any of those things? But hold on, let me just go back real quick. So the standings as they sit are me, Corey, Nielsen, Faulkner, Brooksner, Chewy, Bill, Richie, Brashawn, Chris Deering, Brian Spear, Matt Harris, Special K, Gary Grow, right? But based on how good your team has done in points versus your strength of schedule situation, it's me, Spear, Harris. Yeah, Harris, I mean, you've got your team is doing well. You're just getting super unlucky.
I know. Trust me, I know. This was a conversation that happened over this weekend with you.
Which is awesome, since you have 3 of the luckiest championships I've ever seen in my entire life.
How does that recording go? 3-time champ.
Yeah. So me, Spear, Harris, Chris Deering, Matt Nielsen, which is awesome, right? Because they're in the top 5 of, in my opinion, like the way the power rankings should be. The 2 guys that finished like 11th and 12th through the history of our league are now sitting at 4 and 5. So I think that we kind of poo-pooed their drafts, and they're balling out. They're showing up this year, and so big props to Chris Deering and big props to Matt Nielsen, not Andy Brooksner, just Matt Nielsen. I'm gonna assume that you drafted your own team by yourself. But yeah, so kind of the yeah, everything else, it's Spear and Harris are the two teams that are getting screwed the most.
Well, that'll be interesting because you're playing Spear this upcoming week.
No, I play Corey this week.
No, Matt Carver plays Spear.
Okay.
As the guy that was just talking, you is playing Spear, and he, the guy that wants to be talked about, is playing Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and Spear are getting jobbed the most. So it'll be interesting to see the rest of the season if kind of the strength of schedule shakes out to where you get a little less unlucky and start making up some ground in the standings.
I fucking hope so, Carver.
Corey's team, by far and away, just based on the numbers, is the most fraudulent. They are Corey's second place in the standings, but is the worst in my personal power rankings, the way that I'm looking at this. So it'll be interesting if Corey's luck continues. It'll be interesting if you and Spear's bad luck continues. I think it's cool that Matt Nielsen and Chris Deering are actually showing out this year, based on other years. I love that I'm in first place.
Surprising. I would have thought you would have hated it.
Yeah, it's weird, It surprised me too.
But unfortunately, Corey might probably get another easy win against Harris this upcoming week because you don't have Kamara.
Well, I don't have Kamara, you're right. But I have Myles Gaskin.
That's right. He has one good week. Put him
the gas man.
I have no other running back, so you know what's happening.
So he will disappoint, is what you're saying.
Yep. Yeah, most likely.
You have no choice, so he won't be good.
Yep. Yeah, that's
so is that stuff, do you guys find that stuff interesting?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I find that interesting. I had conversations with Chewy over this weekend about how my team, I believe in my team, but my team hasn't been showing out for me, or the other team has just been destroying me. Like fucking Hollywood Brown, 35 points. Like, come on. I mean, good for you, Brashawn. I'm so happy for you. I really am. Like, that's awesome. That's amazing for you, Brashawn. But fucking A. At halftime, I had a 4-point lead. I mean, I knew 105 was not going to be enough to beat Brashawn because he had defense. He had like 4 players tonight, but it was still like.
The second half of that game was insane. Well, the second half and overtime.
Yeah. So, I mean, God, who else did Brashawn have that just went off for him this week? It was the other wide receiver. Fuck. Not even Cooper Kupp. I was scared of Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Mike Williams. I was scared of Cooper Kupp this week. But fucking Mike Williams. Cooper Kupp got him 12 points. And I was like, okay, good. I can beat 12 points. But then Brandon Cooks got me 3 whole points. So, I mean.
Thank you for saying that. And this will be brought up in future videos, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm gonna recall my comment about your draft and how you drafted 0 wide receivers.
Yeah.
I kind of think that by the midway point of the season, no wide receivers that you drafted will be in your starting lineup.
I'm not going to disagree right now.
We're gonna do a at the halfway point of the season, we're gonna do a recall to our first video, and we're gonna talk about where we were right and where we were wrong. And I think that's gonna be my biggest point where I was right, is that you drafted 0 wide receivers.
You're not wrong. I mean,
Do you
I
still
had
have
to make it.
do you have
Who?
Curtis Samuel?
Yes.
Still?
Yeah.
Are you did you put him in your drop candidate?
He's going to probably be a drop candidate here soon. Yes. We'll see what happens.
Hey, the funny thing is that we said that that's the guy that Bill should have kept instead
I
of Mike
know.
Gesicki. And I don't care what anybody says. Mike Gesicki's not good. He's just a product of his situation where there's nothing else going on in Miami. And
Miles Gaskin.
fair.
But that's fantasy football. Half the time you just look for guys that have to be the guy.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys ever buy beers that have these?
I've seen them,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, this was full when we started videotaping tonight.
Mhm.
Chewbacca,
Oh, there's another 12 ounces.
that's 36 ounces off of my 702 that I'm going to owe to Brian by the end of this season.
Depending on what happens this week for me, there might be a video that comes in that's not related to this video and or the betting video. It might just be to the league to address my what happens with the championship. We'll see what happens. Anyways,
Are you officially stepping down?
no, not yet. Depends on what happens this week.
Are you going to take off the crown?
Depends on what happens this week.
I will say, I think that's what I find most interesting about the league is the way it's stacking up right now is it is highly competitive. Like,
Oh yeah,
because of just the win losses, like it's gonna every season has like 4 to 6 people fighting for the last 2 playoff spots or even 4 playoff spots.
What am I, 1-4 right now, including Brashan's beatdown, or is that am I 1?
Yeah, you're gonna be 1-4.
You're 1-4, and you've got like the the biggest lopsided strength of his schedule.
So like yeah, I'm 1-4 right now. I won last year with an 8-5 record. So I mean, I can still make noise here, but like we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
we got 5 teams right now that are 3-2.
Yeah.
Because I'm very happy that I get Gary this week because
You bet against yourself. Whoops.
I need another win. I still picked it, but while we were talking about strength of schedule, I was looking at what comes for the following weeks, not looking at what hits buys, but who I play, and I start playing all the top teams. So like I know week 7's bad for me, and I'm going to play B, and then I go into Carver. Then I get Bill.
You say Carver stuff.
Then I get Spear, who is supposedly good but has a bad record. Then I get, ideally, by then, still an easy matchup of Special K, but his team just gets bad beats. Then I get Harris, who I hope his team is retired by then. Just straight drop him all by week 12. Then I get B again, and then I get Corey.
Yeah, it's like I said, we're about a third of the way through the season, roughly. I thought it was a good time to kind of bring up those things just to highlight who was getting jobbed, who was kind of fraudulent, who the situations that were legitimate. And I think that Gary has all but said he understands the situation for his team. He's playing for next year. Gosh, with Barkley going down, I don't know if Special K's team has the horses to do anything. He might need to start thinking about selling off some pieces and getting some, like, if he wants to get rid of Barkley and start fresh with a rookie keeper and trying to trade for a guy that he can keep in a late round next year, but that is a second, third, or fourth round guy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It might be time in that season for him.
So
But hold on, but other than Special K and Gary, I think that everybody else still needs to keep fighting for a playoff spot, because nobody else should feel like their season is in, as a unsalvageable situation.
yeah, so
Yeah.
interesting because I don't know if it's in the app because on the website, I don't know how often you ever go to the just the league page, but they have a final standing projection, and so it's not going to be updated for this week.
Yeah.
But like I think I won last week, and it has me projected as, even with that win, finishing 10th in
Yeah.
final projection standings.
Yeah. Those,
Yeah.
I use those as motivation because they always have me as like being really, really bad, and I always beat that projection.
They have you as first.
Huh?
They have you as first.
Yeah, right now, like I said, my team's doing good. I'm still surviving even without Christian McCaffrey, and when he comes back, it's kind of even good. But aside from this league and my team right now, those Yahoo, or sorry, those ESPN projections they fluctuate so much. Like in
Mhm.
1 week, you'll see a team that is supposed to finish 5th, and then they're like, "Oh no, now you're going to finish 12th."
Yep.
Like it's
Well, I mean, Yahoo, because I think we probably all have leagues on every system, or at least Yahoo and ESPN, but Yahoo is notorious for sucking at it too. I think one of my leagues, basically, whoever gets the best draft result is it's like the Madden cover, like something bad's going to happen to you. Like
yeah,
it's not, you do not want to be rated as the best draft.
yeah. Yeah, I think in wrapping this up, like we said, Harris, you're in the bottom 3, but you've kind of had the roughest road so far. Spear is just above you, but that is not indicative of how his team is actually doing. And I think he's had some guys, like some starters, like a Josh Jacobs, who hasn't even played in a couple games. So I think, in my opinion, the only 2 teams that might try to, wave the white flag right now are